Welcome back to episode 44 of the Xbox North podcast. This week we discuss Remedy getting back to their roots with Max Payne Remake 1 and 2. Also, we get some more details of Unreal Engine with it officially releasing and seeing what the coalition has been up to with their partnership. Also, out of that event, we heard that Crystal Dynamics will be working on another Tomb Raider game. That's really exciting. But that out of the way, please like, subscribe, and share if you guys can. But Dan, how you been doing this week?
Well, I've been pretty good. Been not doing as much gaming as usual, but definitely been playing a few games. I got a little bit of time to jump into DayZ, run around for a little bit, and got to play a little more Guardians of the Galaxy. Tried to jump into Tunic a little more, and my daughter's been loving that game, so she tends to pull me away from it whenever she wants to hop on another game. She played it a little bit. She was having a lot of fun. She actually got really far on her own, too.
Did you put on, no death?
Yeah.
Like, invincibility?
Yeah, I just made her invincible and then let her run around, and she was already, all the way up the stairs. She had gone to see the fox in, the crystal cube right at the beginning, just past the little statue, and then ended up coming back out where I showed her where to go and find the stick and everything so that she had her first weapon.
Nice.
Yeah, she was having a blast.
Yeah, that game's really cool. There's a lot of mystery to it, especially when you find little areas you pop out of and you're like, was there always a door there? Oh man.
And it's very much like a Zelda feel and everything. So it's brings me back to playing it on Game Boy when I was really little and the original NES and stuff.
There you go.
Oh, that was awesome. And we got to play some Revenant together, which was awesome.
Remnant from the Ashes.
Remnant, that's it, yeah.
Yeah, it finally started working again when you have it installed on your console. I don't know what was going on with that, but I don't know. I decided to take the plunge and try again because it's a cool game. The challenge is nice in that game, and I like a shooter too, so it kind of scratches that I guess Elden Ring, Dark Souls-ish with more of a shooter aspect to it. Playing co-op was a lot of fun.
Oh heck yeah! And I even jumped in right away just because I didn't have it on my console at the time, so I jumped in on xCloud, and it ran surprisingly well. I didn't have any issues when we were actually fighting bosses and stuff, but every once in a while when we were in other areas, I'd get this sort of flash going down. But I think that's just because my console's not wired in right now. I'm just working off that Wi-Fi.
Yeah. I think if it's wired in and if you eventually upgrade the modem, will go along. I was dealing with the same thing, and then when I changed it made a big difference. Even when I was wired in too, surprisingly. Yeah. I didn't even understand that too. I'm how does changing to a Wi-Fi 6 router actually fix my wired connection? But whatever. It worked a lot
better ports on there too. Yeah.
But the interesting thing about what we played yesterday, so there's two ways to get to that area that will lead us to the subway.
Yep.
And when we went into the sewers, when I played, I went into a sewer on the other side of the map. And it brings you to the same area, but I faced a completely different boss encounter. I was fighting this boss that would disappear, and he was a range thing, and I had so many ads coming on after me. It was tough, and then I was surprised. I'm like things are a little different. I'm why is it a little different yesterday? And then the boss was completely different. I'm oh yeah. I'm I think we went into a different tunnel, but it ended up going to the same area. I'm that's cool. There was two different routes you can potentially take. Yeah. So the game it's cool.
It definitely gave some Elden Ring vibes, and definitely felt it felt good to play. It was satisfying, even though it was pretty hard, especially when we got to that one boss with the guy running around with just his big ass sword and having the exploding spawns come on us. They took a lot of damage.
I also like how it comes down to like hearing, like listening. You hear the screams, and then you're like, okay, I got to stop focusing on the boss and just like
just run from him and kill the ads. Yeah,
exactly. And then like effects can happen to you, so you can get like diseased or like bleeding, and you have to use like resources to kind of like help yourself. So it's kind of like a weird, like, I wouldn't say like it's a survival game like DayZ or something like that, like nowhere near that, but you can say
they had a lot of that. I was surprised.
they add a survival aspect in the combat of the game.
Yeah.
So that's where it like comes into like you have to bandage yourself up, you have to drink like elixir to like get yourself like unpoisoned and stuff. So I found that aspect kind of interesting, where they're like, how can we kind of take that survival aspect but make it more of like a combat mechanic?
Yeah, and it works really well. It doesn't like hinder the experience at all. It's just a like, it's one more thing you got to kind of pay attention to and, just have some resources for. But it's not going to like outright kill you or something on its own. You can always heal back up or do whatever kind of you need to stay alive, and it'll just tick away slowly. So you just got to watch that meter.
Yeah, watch that. This game will like keep us further and further away from Elden Ring, even though I have access to it and you don't.
Yeah. Soon.
Yeah, soon, right?
My birthday's coming up, so.
My birthday's this Sunday, so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so getting old, man. And it's Oliver's birthday, so it's just like, it's a busy day.
Yeah.
So.
That's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it's a good day.
Yeah, what else did you get up to this week?
Oh, work's been good. Kind of same old for that. Just kind of figuring out my son's birthday and what we are going to do. We were thinking the science center, but I don't know. The more I look into it, I think it would be pretty cool if he's like 6 or 7.
Yeah.
But as a 4-year-old, so we're thinking about
the aquarium yet?
We did when he was 2. That's a little far, so we might do that. But I was thinking about taking him to this like indoor playground.
Oh yeah,
and just letting him kind of just like rip around that. He has a lot of energy, so I think he'd have fun with that and his sister. So,
my kid loved those.
So, yeah, so there's one not too like terribly far from us, and we're gonna bring the wagon down, and he got a little bit of money from his aunt, so he wants to go spend that. So we'll take him to the mall and spend some money. So he's all excited for that, which was nice. So, and yeah, tried Remnant from the Ashes. Been playing more Sentry as well. Got my chest for the week last week. Nice. Trying to do that daily quest, but I'm like 2 behind already this week. So you have to do like 1 a day, like get 7 to get like a really good chest at the end.
Yeah.
That game is just so good, and it's nice to see it keep on getting bigger and bigger, and it seems to be doing well as well. It's in like the top 5 for free to play games on Xbox.
Nice. Yeah, it's really fun.
Yeah,
I was surprised at the quality of it. Yeah, and like the dragons look awesome. You're flying them around super fast, and it just feels cool.
Yeah, and I just took off motion blur the other day. I'm like, whoa, it runs even better.
Yeah.
I'm like, why did they put motion blur in? Like sometimes I'm like, this is outrageous.
Try that out, because I think that's been the one thing that's been distracting me. Every time he starts going fast, it gets like fairly blurry.
Yeah. So you can remove that. Also, I'm like right at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy, which might be like one of my favorite narrative games. The game is it's so creative. The banter between them, even like their personalities, the actors who played them, their voice actor, the overall just mood of the game, the originality, or I guess the original story and kind of their take on Guardians of the Galaxy it's by far, if not the best Marvel game. That and like the new Spider-Man, easily some of the best Marvel games that come out. Too bad they didn't take this approach with the Avengers. Like it's such a template right there. Like we didn't need this persistent, always online looter, whatever they were trying to do, that just ended up being more money in the long run to just fail. Like, I wish developers would realize that if your gameplay is not like Destiny good, where like Destiny can get away with that because it feels so good to play, and it also has a good PvP aspect to it, then you have a chance, maybe. But if you're not even that, like, you're just wasting your money. Like, seriously wasting your money.
Like, Destiny's big. It's hard to meet up to all the different levels that you can get satisfied on a game like that, because there's all the beginner points, like running through the campaign and everything. Then you can jump into PvP. You can jump into, like, just doing bigger and bigger quests and raids and everything. It's a massive multi-layered game, and then you start getting with the meta of the game and really getting your character up there and stats and everything, right?
Yeah. Or like, if you're not going to come out with much at the beginning, your base, just like gameplay has to, or like loop has to be good. I'd say that's the only reason a game like Sea of Thieves kind of got out of its launch rut, because the getting on a boat with your friends and sailing on the seas and finding another player and getting into battle was crazy. Or like robbing people, like it's nuts. So adding more on top of that was just easy, in my opinion. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to finishing Guardians of the Galaxy. That game is really cool. So I'm looking forward to the conclusion. I would like to see more of, so let's kind of like get into our show for the week. And this kind of came out of nowhere today. So it was funny. This kind of came last minute into our show. But Remedy, one of my favorite developers, to be honest, developer of Max Payne 1, Max Payne 2, Quantum Break, Alan Wake, Control, like some awesome games under their belt. All independent games. Yeah, exactly, like literally mind-bending games. They're going back to their roots with Max Payne 1 and Max Payne 2 remake. So it doesn't seem like it's a remaster. They're actually going to take the time and probably use it sounds like they're going to be using their updated engine, their in-house engine, which their in-house engine's really good. Like, they do a good job on their engine. It's very destructive, especially when you play Control, like the particle effects and just like things ripping apart. And now that Max Payne, it'll be just on next-gen consoles, they can really take advantage of that. The bullets ripping apart the environment and kind of taking the first and second game to another level. But yeah, and
a little nicer looking than the picture we got up here.
Yeah, exactly.
Very
right?
much
Like
released
stretched out face.
Oh yeah.
But Dan, like, what do you want to see out of these remakes now that we know that it's actually going to be a remake? And were you ever a fan of the Max Payne series?
Oh, I love the Max Payne series. It was, I remember back in the day when I first tried it, and my brother was playing it, and he ended up just saying like, okay, yeah, you can try it out and everything, and seeing just the whole new type of gameplay, having the bullet time effects, like jumping through the air and just taking out people. Like, that's all I wanted to do. I never wanted to stand still anymore and try and aim and shoot at anybody. It's just jump through the air and, like, as you dive.
Yeah. You're just like, if you ever saw the guy in real life, he's like, he's constantly diving. Like, why is he constantly diving?
I don't know how he has
every corner he turns around
jumping like that. Yeah, exactly. Just go run, hide around the corner, and then jump out in slow-mo.
But do you think they're going to, let's say, re-record all the dialogue? How far do you think they're going to take this as a remake besides just an engine swap?
Well, that's just it. From how far it is from the release day, like when it came out back in the day, and when it's going to come
Early
out for
2000s.
us now as the remake, heck yeah. It's so far away, I'd be surprised if they didn't keep, like if they left everything other than the idea of the game and like the main like structure of the storyline, basically rebuild it from scratch and have maybe a few clips or something here and there of like Easter egg material.
Yeah, I would like to see them totally re-record the game, even redo the cutscenes, maybe even add motion capture to it. Really take it to another level. Besides just like swapping over the engine. I wonder if Sam Lake, I think that's his name, the owner of Remedy, who was the face of Max Payne in the first game, will reprise his role. That'd be so funny if they scan
That'd be
his
amazing.
face.
Have old Max Payne and have him.
Or I wonder how much of the character model from the Rockstar Max Payne 3 they'll use.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
If they want to kind of make it more in line with that, because the Rockstar one was really cool too. So I like to see them partnering up with Rockstar again. I find Rockstar just focuses so much on GTA Online and just, I remember when Rockstar would do like little games in between, like Bully, or even Rockstar Presents Table Tennis, like a table tennis game. Like, come on. Which had some of the like most realistic graphics. Like, it was outrageous. So it's nice to see Remedy and Rockstar teaming up again. But I feel like Remedy has a lot on their plate. They are making Alan Wake 2, that's for sure. I think they have another 2 projects on top of that. They have a multiplayer project they're also working on. They are doing more, I think, story mode content for that failed game. What was it, Crossfire X?
Oh yeah.
And now they're doing this, and I think they even have one more thing going on too. So they have a ton of stuff now under their plate, and they must have a ton of funding coming in from Epic Games to now Rockstar. So,
and they're saying like Rockstar is going to be fitting the bill for this one, so they're going to be, and it's going to be like a AAA Remedy release, like so it's going to cost some money.
Yeah, and Remedy, they make good stuff and they make interesting stuff. Yeah. And it's nice to see them, like I said, going back to their roots. And I wonder if this will kind of set a fire under Rockstar's butt to go back to the Max Payne well. Like, I would love to see when these remakes come out, bundle in Max Payne 3 with it. Give us the trilogy pack. Don't give us just Max Payne 1 and 2. Give us maybe not like a remastered of 3, but like a or not like a remake of 3, but a remaster of 3. You know, up its frame rate. You know, increase its textures. Just, you know, the whole, you know, remaster.
The whole next gen package.
Yeah, and give us like a trilogy pack. That'd be really cool, or at least an option for that. You know, here's the dual pack with just the remakes, or, you know, an extra little bit you can get the trilogy or something.
All 3,
I would love to see them go back and make a Max Payne 4. Maybe even like going into, I think he has, he has a child. Like, it's been so long since I played those games to kind of remember the plot. Or did he have a kid? Or did the child die?
I thought it was his wife that died.
Is this his wife that
died? I have to look into this. Yeah.
But it'd be cool if it was like his kid or something. Or whatever. Or a strange son or whatnot. You know, because he does spend some like some drunken time down in Brazil, I think, in Max Payne 2. So
I mean, with how much Max Payne diving, 3, he's guaranteed getting some head injuries diving like that.
Yeah, yeah, for real, right? He's like, you got to stop diving at windows. Every time you go around a corner, you're diving
windows, over counters. Yep, just into people. Jeez, man.
So it'd be. I wonder if they'll even do multiplayer with it. Maybe if they kind of get the whatever they're going to be doing with the engine and to a point where it actually feels good in a multiplayer setting, they could add like a little multiplayer side piece to this. That wouldn't be too bad. Because I remember Max Payne 3 had multiplayer and it was quite good. So I would love to see some multiplayer added to this as well. They had a unique, like the bullet time was like an add-on to it, and it affected everyone else too. It was an interesting.
Slow down everybody. Just have everybody dive in slow mo.
But yeah, they got a lot of partnerships going on right now. So
I'm excited.
I hope things don't kind of. But we don't know how far things are along with other projects, right? Like Alan Wake 2 could be way further along than we think. So you never know.
Some of these could be closing off, and those teams are now moving on to Max Payne and Max Payne 2.
How many employees, I'm curious, are in Remedy Studios?
Question.
Like they must have clearly north of 100 developers. They must be a massive studio at this point. I wonder if they get any help from a support studio as well. Yeah, they must have possibly a partnership with probably within their partnerships with Epic and stuff, access to support studios and stuff like that for project if need be.
As Remedy Partners has 376 employees.
It's quite a few.
Yeah. That's like partners, so that's like all of them. But just Remedy Entertainment has 290 plus.
There you go.
That's quite a few. And their headquarters are in Finland, too. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, they're overseas. I'd like to see them working with Xbox again, though. I feel like they've made some of their best stuff under Xbox, so I feel like it would have been cool if Microsoft would have purchased them, but I feel like they like being independent. Yeah. So struggling for that publisher money must be their thing. God, that must be stressful, though. They're like, I hope we get funding for this project. Fingers crossed.
Well, hopefully Rockstar is like pretty open with that sort of thing. I mean, they're getting to dig into their roots and remake some old classics and everything. They're building some new stuff, so they seem to be doing well. They got enough projects going on.
Yeah, and Rockstar's got that GTA Online money, so and I can't even imagine what Grand Theft Auto 6 will bring in to them. So that game is like the second biggest game in the world, selling game in the world.
Yeah,
it's insane. It is just as big as Fortnite, right? So, and speaking of Fortnite,
right?
Well, speaking of
try that out.
Yeah, we got a no building finally, something I can play. Right? He's like instead of shooting at you and you building just a fort around you, which the name Fortnite makes sense, but
I like my building games and I like my shooting games, but not always mashed together.
Yeah, not always in like a PvP setting too.
Yeah.
But speaking of Epic Games, the people who run Fortnite, the creators of Fortnite, Epic kind of did the big release for Unreal Engine 5, and it looks like we see more of the future of the engine and see what we actually saw specifically from the Coalition. And from the showcase they showed there, it was just a small little thing. This guy like holding a crystal, kind of looked more like medieval-ish armor, but still advanced, but not Gears. Like they didn't have like the meaty kind of body like Gears. It was like a normal looking person. And there was this like cloud of smoke just like chasing him, and he was holding this crystal up to it and screamed, and it glowed, and it just like pushed the smoke back. But man, the fidelity in this trailer they showed off was just absolutely insane. Yeah. And from what I know of the Coalition, they really, it feels like every time we hear about Unreal Engine 5 or Unreal Engine in general, we always hear the name the Coalition attached to it. Like, I feel like the Coalition is essentially known as the best studio, period, to work with the Unreal Engine, which I don't know if it's Rob Ferguson, who got like a lot of legacy people from the original Gears of War who worked on Unreal, or just made sure that that studio was just packed full of just people whose specialty is Unreal. They do some incredible stuff. Even what they pulled off with the Unreal tech demo with the Matrix, they helped work on that and essentially brought it to market with Epic. But was this a taste of this smaller project we hear the Coalition is working on? Because we know they're working on two things right now. Something we know, it's Gear 6, obviously. They want to close their trilogy. They want to conclude their story. But I hear they're working on something a little smaller as well. Is this a little taste of what it is? This kind of like advanced medieval world with power crystals, essentially?
Yeah. I feel like it has to be like they're putting a lot of work in all this stuff, and they're doing an amazing job with it. Like it's almost like they're just built to just experiment and test with this engine to develop techniques for other companies to use. But they're doing such a good job with this. It looks like they put some serious work and effort into this whole idea that looks amazing too. Like, why not use it?
Yeah, right. Just there's this shot of the character in it, this shot of his eyes, and like you see his skin textures, and this is all running in like real time. And I'm very curious what the Coalition could bring in new ideas for gameplay. So like, you know, when the Coalition came to the table, they brought in Gears of War 4 and then Gears 5. Two fantastic games, like absolutely fantastic games. And they did help work on the Tactics series. But these are not new gameplay ideas. I feel like they've really proven themselves, opposed to, let's say, studios like 343, sadly, who've taken the reins from other studios to go forward with a franchise. I feel like after they're done Gear 6 and do this little side project as well, I feel like they have built the reputation where they can say, no, we're not going to work on Gear 7. We're going to work on a brand new franchise that we're going to bring to market that's going to be completely new. And they earned it. They absolutely earned it. Gears 4 is a great game. It's kind of like the Force Awakens. You can say where that's still that kind of nostalgia buzz. Still feels like Gears. But Gears 5, in my opinion, with the kind of like semi-open world aspect, especially in Hive Busters, adding like almost classes to the characters.
Yeah, that was fun.
The storytelling, the acting, the graphics. The new enemy types, they really get what they do, and they do it really well. Like some of the scenes in Gears 5 where you're on the skiff and there's like a tornado happening all around you, and there's like tornadoes going, and there's thunder coming down, and it makes these like huge lightning, like almost like glass shards coming out of the sand. Like they take this engine and they just like squeeze everything out of it, and they'll show you it. Even in Gears 4, I was impressed with the weather effects and the physics they were using. So anything, I feel like, and I'm also starting to feel like Microsoft is starting to recognize that, like that the Coalition is like their GOAT, essentially, right? Like, and Unreal is just, the Unreal Engine is just doing great things for Microsoft, which I find funny because they have so many in-house engines. Yeah, go do your thing, Beth. They have so many in-house engines which they can do so many things with, but I feel like Microsoft is almost focusing on their partnership with Epic and Unreal. But that's not surprising in the sense because it feels like everyone's going to use Unreal, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's what schools use.
That's just it. It's like it's a huge
I'll let you talk
engine
for
right
a
now.
minute.
No, no worries. No, it's a huge engine right now. It's an awesome little like way to go, and with so many companies using it, yeah, you're just expanding the knowledge base for it. They're going to be sharing ideas, and especially using the Unreal Engine that much in like the Microsoft like area and everything. Like their whole group of companies is just sharing all that knowledge and everything, and it's a great open world with the expanse of how many open world games we can have now, where we're getting less restrictions from the hardware forcing us to do like a linear pattern and everything. There's so many games that are just opening up wider and wider, and like the Unreal Engine's just one of the best ones for open world games.
Well, it feels like with Unreal 5, that's what their main focus was, is to focus on an open world setting. So that's why, CD Projekt Red decided to switch over to Unreal 5, because they're like, okay, finally this engine can give us what we are looking for in an open world setting. So that is very exciting, because there's this whole group of people just their whole job is just to make this engine better and to support the developer. So like, how is that not super appealing? Instead of like what we got with Cyberpunk 2077, where they were essentially building the game while building the engine. So it's like driving the train while building the track in front of you. It makes things a lot more complicated. And if things get complicated, you can get in touch with Epic or even the Coalition. They have a fantastic partnership with Microsoft as well. But one thing that's interesting about getting good with an engine like that is they can also take something that the engine doesn't do well and make that aspect of the engine even better. And they can make it a permanent part of the engine and reiterate on that and continue. So, I don't know. It's nice to see that it's finally out and developers getting their hands on it. But here's another question for you, Dan. Is this starting to corner our market? Like, what about Unity? What about Microsoft's other engines, like their InTech engine, their creative engine? They have a lot of good stuff under their belt as well that they could be building out. In my opinion, do you think Epic is starting to corner our market, especially in film? Like, look at The Mandalorian and stuff.
Yeah. No, 100%. I think they're really building out that brand and everything, and with the way that the physics engines and the way that they design them, they're getting so good that you don't really need to have that many of them. And if you can take that kind of complication away, like we were talking about earlier, it'd be an awesome way to just, keep that moving forward and keep that kind of forward momentum with the power that they've got there and just running with it. It's going to be like, I don't know. It's hard to say. There's always going to be little engines kind of around and everything, because there's going to be new experimental things that people want to try, and you're going to have some sort of engines dedicated to that. Because the only problem I could see really is once these bigger engines just grow to a certain size, you might end up with some issues on the back end because there's so much complexity to them. That's always been a bit of the dangerous part, but who knows? I mean, with machine learning and everything, they're finding ways around those problems just by making it find its own problems and everything, and starting to program them out. They're getting better and better AI. Who knows?
Well, yeah. With that whole cloud platform they're working on, they're saying that they have game tester AIs that can just like go through the game and test it for an indie developer. Oh man, that is an invaluable resource. Like you're telling me I can get this AI to like run through my game like 150 times and just like try and break it? That sounds all right to me.
Yeah, like pretty soon the game's going to be, like the engine's going to be testing itself and fixing itself. So, who knows? I mean, I think
but
we'll
other
see some good
engines
things
gotta step up.
Yeah, or it'll just be like mods to engines and everything that people will start working on and building more. So you'll have at least a base structure. If you want to have a more like real-world physics-based engine, you pick Unreal or something. And you want to have a more outer space physics type engine, or more like different environmental engines or experimental engines or something. Who knows? You use a Remedy engine, or use the Unity engine or something.
Yeah, you don't know what certain engines are like good for. There could be engines that are more like, oh, we can scale like more at like a solar system scale, and like where the sun is like the realistic lighting for like the planets and stuff like that. Or I don't know, but I'm not a game developer, so it's hard to say. But
just it. I know a bit about that stuff, but not enough to claim to be an expert or anything, for sure.
Yeah, no, exactly. I went to school for a little bit, for a little time of that, but didn't decide to continue. So, but speaking of another company using that engine, Crystal Dynamics has officially announced that they are going to be working on a brand new Tomb Raider using the Unreal 5, moving away from their proprietary in-house engine. Seems to be a trend going forward now with, like I was saying, CD Projekt Red announcing something similar.
I think
sorry, you were saying?
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, yeah, I think we're gonna see a big trend like this. There's, especially with just all the hype around Unreal Engine 5 and the amazing tests they've been doing with it. It just looks fantastic. It's ridiculous. It's hard to say no to that sort of eye candy,
Also, I think, Crystal Dynamics is working with the initiative right now on Perfect Dark, and from what I know, Perfect Dark is using Unreal for their game. So they must have seen something while developing the Perfect Dark game that they really liked with the engine to continue using it for Tomb Raider. Royalties are not cheap in the end. So for a company to move away from an in-house engine is a big deal, and especially a company like, who owns Square Enix, Crystal Dynamics is Square Enix, and they're frustrating in the sense that they just don't seem satisfied with any of their Western developers, and for something to kind of cut into more of their profits seems interesting that they've decided to move to that, but they must have seen something good in that engine from working on it on Perfect Dark. But they are working on 2 games. That makes me think how far along actually Perfect Dark is. Maybe it is further along than we actually think. But Tomb Raider, have you played the new rebooted franchise specifically?
I played some of it, and it was amazing visually and everything. I liked the gameplay and all that. I just I haven't had time to get into that one. It's one of those, another one on the list that I got to get to.
Yeah, I actually played the first. I've played all 3 actually. The third one was actually made by Eidos Montreal, the people who made Guardians of the Galaxy. And I really enjoyed it, actually. I thought the third one was quite good. But they make really good games. I feel like the Avengers is such a black eye for them. And I'm really curious what they can do with the Coalition, not the Coalition, the Initiative, and Unreal on Perfect Dark. And that's going to be a first-person shooter for them, which is definitely a different take for them, considering they're more of a third-person action-adventure game. Yeah. God, I'd love if they would go back to the Legacy of Kain. Like, they made the Legacy of Kain games back in the day. Like, give them that franchise back. It, like, Square, like, you want to make a ton of money right now, and you want to know a game that's making a ton of money in a very medieval-like setting? Elden Ring. It'd be really cool if Crystal Dynamics made a Legacy of Kain bring that gothic vampire
Heck yeah.
game back. That'd be so cool. But I hope they don't have too much on their plate. But I don't know. You have not played through the not even like the Rise of the Tomb Raider, like that was like the big Xbox game.
I played through most of that one, but I didn't get a chance to spend too much time on it, unfortunately, because I think I played most of it on like a free weekend, and I've been like chilling with Game Pass for such a long time now.
Right? Too bad it's not on Game Pass. I don't
Yeah.
think it is on Game Pass, is it? I'll have to check.
I don't think so.
But do you think now that engine is more focused on open world? Like I know the other ones were kind of like a hub base, like there was the hub world and then you can go kind of do different things from that hub world. Would you want to see more of a true open world kind of Tomb Raider game where
I think
you're
it's
driving the
about time
streets of London or something like that? And
yeah, like London, you're gonna have to have like a jungle setting and probably a desert setting too, just to really flesh out like the Lara Croft universe as it is.
yeah, or like massive environments. That's what I want out of these like engines is these massive, beautiful environments where it feels like you just can go anywhere you want.
Yeah.
No restrictions. But like I want like dynamic stuff to happen. So that's always one thing Crystal Dynamic was funny name, Crystal Dynamic. But what they are good at is these really dynamic and over the top set pieces. They're the best at like I'm gonna run down like a hallway and like crazy stuff is gonna happen around me. And I want to see that in like an open world setting, but not as linear as it is. Like imagine like you're on a street and it's like falling apart and like a spaceship comes down and like just starts rocking the buildings and you're just like feeling everything, smokes going off, explosions, just like to the point where you're just like this is everything. It looks real. But they can do whatever.
All sorts of nonsense.
Like bring the power of the gods like to the Tomb Raider, and just like get her into some crazy like ancient artifact, like ripping apart a city or destroying a museum, just like on another level. So, and I think that's what Unreal 5 can bring to the table for them. But I feel like the Tomb Raider franchise, I would like to see her, the Lara Croft character. I wouldn't like them. I do not want them to change the character. I would like to see her as more of an older woman, like not just like this like 20-year-old lady. I'd like to see her, like almost like a 40-year-old woman, and kind of like her. Are like more like middle, like late middle of her career as a Tomb Raider, and kind of where that like and maybe even she has a kid or something, and they can kind of set that up to be something in the future.
It'd be nice to see some progression. Like she's been like 20 for the past like 30 years now or something.
Like I feel like we've always played with her at this like young stage in her career and stuff. Like I want to see her like a seasoned Tomb Raider. Has some scars, has some wrinkles on her.
Yeah, absolutely. Get some realism in there, especially with the amount of detail they'll be able to pull in with the Unreal Engine. It's gonna be nuts.
I feel like we haven't seen anything, dude. Like
I know.
I feel
it's ridiculous. It's like you keep saying, like, and like we were just seeing up top there was like Max Payne back in the day, just like crunchy boxes and everything. Our kids are going to grow up with just the most amazing graphics. It's going to be ridiculous. Like my kids are just getting into video games.
Yeah. Well, and I think of games like Forza Horizon 5. That game still runs on the Xbox One. Yeah. So like these games we're playing now, like Guardians of the Galaxy, that game looks outrageously good, but still, it's still designed around the Xbox One. Still designed around a hard drive, a standard hard drive, not a SSD, It's not designed around direct storage or the velocity architecture of what they kind of there's nothing out there that is designed around that. Even Resident Evil 7 looks really fancy, but still not designed around that. When you can take these new design techniques, we haven't seen anything yet at all. Like, because I feel like the only thing that's really shown me next gen is that Unreal 5 tech demo from the Matrix. Like, that is the most mind-blowingly, the fidelity in that is just outrageous. So it's like, we have not seen anything, and I can't wait to see E3 this year, and I can't wait to see Fable and all these next gen games coming.
I feel like this is this opening is where we've been more excited about the hardware than any of the actual games coming out. And like now we're just starting to see what these new games can really be with the hardware that's so capable.
Yeah, I feel like we've gotten the hardware. We've gotten this kind of first batch of games that they've announced, and we've kind of known that we're coming back in like the Xbox One era, like Halo Infinite we've known forever.
Yeah.
But what we've seen of, let's say, Perfect Dark or Fable or State of Decay 2, like these titles we know that are coming, have all just been CGI trailers, and when we actually get our hands and eyes on the actual like end product of it, I think we're gonna be pleasant surprised. I hope so. So fingers crossed. But
100%.
Clearly, the future of Unreal looks really good. So, and I'm looking forward to seeing whatever Crystal Dynamics does with Perfect Dark and the Tomb Raider franchise. And it looks like it's nice to see that they're going to continue with the Tomb Raider franchise, because I feel like they actually did something really special with that franchise.
Oh, yeah.
But
I think the whole industry is getting better funded and better recognized for the things they're building now, and like the expertise it takes to do that. I was reading even Activision Blizzard, their testers just got like a big pay raise and everything. They just they just started actually putting in some value to them, raised their minimum wage, gave them like massive raises and stuff. It was awesome.
Oh, their days are numbered. You know, they're owned by Microsoft, and they got an AI to do that soon. So I think they're going to be unionized too. So, but things are looking bright for games, and I think like I keep on saying, we have not seen nothing yet. So, with that out of the way, I think we're done. Yeah, I think that's the show for today.
Yeah.
I know we said we were going to be having Wandering Dutch on today, but just complications happened this week. So hopefully we'll have him on next week. Fingers crossed. But we'll see for sure. But Dan, take us home.
Oh, yeah. So don't forget to smack that subscribe button on our YouTube page and tippity tap that like button. You can comment on my sexy voice or Josh's sexy voice. Yeah. Find us on audio only on Spotify and Google Podcasts. Just search relentlessly for Xbox North Podcast. We're also on Reddit and Instagram. Take a look for Xbox North Podcast, and for Twitter at North Xbox. Because why would we make it easy for you?
Absolutely not.
All right.
Have a good night,
everyone.
Toodaloo.